Hello, everyone. So we got another month through. So yeah, you should probably know what this means by now. We're gonna go over the stuff that was found throughout the month. This one was a bit slower, but that doesn't mean there weren't some interesting finds. We got 8 things that I want to talk about, and again, and anything that gets found it was announced to found on a date that was after the stream won't be here. Oh, and one more thing: the "At Your Own Risk" album from Tyler the Creator that I talked about in the last stream. Apparently, that's not complete, so that part's outdated. I apologize for that. But, anyways, without further ado, let's look at the pieces of lost media that were found in September of 2025. Okay, 1 second before we start. All right, start with Heli Taco Poo-chan. Yeah, if anything, anime has had kind of a quiet place in terms of being found this year, outside of the Fist of the North Star uncensored version being found, which I talked about back in July. Anyways, Heli Taco Poo-chan, I think I'm saying that correct. This was an anime comedy series that aired from February 1998 to almost a year later in 1999, on the channel TV Asahi. Hopefully, I'm saying that correctly. It was based off a manga of the same name by author Takemaru Sasaki, which was later serialized in the shoujo magazine Chow. It centers on an octopus with a propeller named Poo-chan, and who crash lands from space onto Hoaru Island, as well as his friends, a human girl named Mirin-chan, a dog named Poroki-kun, and a frog teacher named Keiru Sensei. The series lasted for a total of 42 episodes, and were approximately 3 minutes each, and aired as a segment of a show called Anime Shukan DX Mifapu, or Mifapu. While the show did get a VHS release containing the entire series, episode 22 was noticeably absent from these releases, and as far as I'm aware, it's never been stated why. This episode would eventually be found back and uploaded in 2018 by a Dailymotion user named Karen Motion 999. And over time, users would upload the episodes off the VHS to online, with the whole series being completely found as of September 1st, thanks to several users, and are now available on both Naya and the Internet Archive. Hej Monica Danish version. This song, I'm just going to call Hej Monica, I believe. was a song performed by Swedish pop group Nick and the Family for their debut album in 2004. It was known for its simple and repetitive nature, where the title itself is repeated a total of 55 times. So, yeah, if this were English and released today, it would probably get some TikTok virality or something. In fact, it did get some sort of viral resurgence in 2017 after user PewDiePie did a cover, believe it or not. And apparently sometime in 2004, the song was released as a single in the country of Denmark. It's basically the same song as the original, just with a Danish translation. While it can be seen on streaming on music sites like Spotify, this version is not playable through there. Though it also seemed to have gotten a physical release in Denmark. Eventually, on September 6th, user GCM announced he bought a copy and subsequently uploaded the song to YouTube, where it can still be viewed today. Who discovered Roger Rabbit 1998 screenplay? Who Framed Roger Rabbit is probably one of the most iconic films of all time, let alone the 80s. He's highly praised by critics for its blend of live action and animation, and one of being the only instances of both Warner Brothers and Disney characters crossing over. So, yeah, we're probably never going to get something like that again. Anyways, what some people may not know is that there were several attempts to plan sequels. None of them saw the light of day. One of which was found, of which his production material was found for something called Roger Rabbit 2: The Toon Platoon. But the one I want to talk about is Who Discovered Roger Rabbit. This one would have been a sort of a prequel of sorts and was first discussed in the late 90s. But this was canceled due to the projected budget and that was simply too high, and the current studio politics at the time. That script for that version was found back in 2021, which was dated in 1990. But much recently, on September 6th of this year, a much later draft of this version, dated 1998, was discovered by user TDN Guyan 2000. Apologies if I said that wrong. I'm not sure how to pronounce that kind of stuff. Swabbies. This was an unfinished Disney animated short film produced that was first worked on back in the mid 1980s. The basic of the story is that after falling through countless jobs and not being able to pay their rent, well, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy decide to enlist in the U.S. Navy. And upon they fall the boys eventually fall in love with a trio of waves who are played by Minnie, Daisy, and Clarabelle. And it basically goes from there, trying to win them over and stuff like that. This was planned after the success of Mickey's Christmas Carol back in 1983. However, this film never saw the light of day because of studio meddling, and for the most part, it was many stuff that was lost. However, on September 7th, 2025, the full animatic of the special was uploaded online, but the person who did this originally is unknown, as they seem to want to remain anonymous. There's also a model sheet showing what the characters may have looked like. So, yeah, if you want to look at the animatic, you can find it on YouTube. Soldam Famicom version. Soldam was an arcade game that was released by Jaleco in 1992. It was basically a falling block puzzle game similar to something like, say, Tetris. There were later eventually plans to release it on the Famicom, which was a Japan exclusive console, which was planned to be released in 1993. However, it was never released because it was time to move the console to the Super Famicom. In addition to the game being prototype ROMs were known to be available since at least 2016, but they've never been dumped online. And also, there was a soundtrack for the game that was, I believe, in 2017. All of them were found. But eventually, over the years, there were plans to remake the game for the Famicom. And eventually, on September 15th, Homebrew Factory officially released the game, and you can basically play it. Blue's Clues. What to do, Blue? Blue's Clues is probably some of the most interesting lost media to its now found pilot, to its many adaptations, including the now found British version. But here's something that's a bit more obscure. What to do, Blue? This was an audiobook cassette that was released by Nick Jr. in the late 90s. Along with a book, there was also an audio that seems to play like a regular episode of Blue's Clues. While the book can be found online, mostly through sites like eBay, the audiobook's audio was never uploaded online in full. However, the audio would eventually be uploaded online on September 18th by a user named Idiot Volume 3. However, although the video audio quality isn't the best given the way he recorded it, it is technically the full thing. So if you're willing to get past that, go check it out for yourself if you're a fan of Blue's Clues. Virtual League Baseball 2. I'm sure most of you know what the Virtual Boy is, as it's probably one of Nintendo's biggest flops ever. Given the show its small library, you would think there wouldn't be much for that, but there are actually a bunch of canceled games that never saw the light of day on the console. And just recently, one of them became found. This was This was Virtual League Baseball 2, or also known as Virtual Pro Yaku 96, which was supposed to be a sequel to the original Virtual League Baseball. Given the console's failure, it didn't release, though there were screenshots handed around. And finally, on September 19th, the game was officially uploaded online by members of a Virtual Boy forum site, I believe what it is. But yeah, never thought I would see a Virtual Boy game be found in 2025. But yeah. Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro Thor cutscene. And finally, we're ending this off with from the Spider-Man franchise. Now, Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro was a 2001 action-adventure game released for the original PlayStation. Equal to a game that was released the previous year. While the game received mixed reviews, it's probably more notorious for being delayed in September of 2001 and under ongoing several sensitivity changes due to taking place during the World Trade Center, which, given 9/11, had to be changed. Though that version has since been found, there was one more version, something from this game that was lost. That being an exclusive Thor cutscene that was only available on the game's website. After Electro is defeated, Thor would come up to Spider-Man and would explain a gag later on in the scene showing Spider-Man lamenting a news article that gives Thor all the credit for defeating Electro. While screenshots were able to be found, and the full cutscene was lost until September 22nd, when a Reddit user named BobbyFan85 made a post on the Lost Media subreddit with saying, quote, I knew I had downloaded it years ago when it was released. So I dug out my old hard drives and found it. It says I downloaded it on October 16th, 2001. I just uploaded it to my Instagram page. I think I can put the link to it here. Therefore, the scene was uploaded to Instagram, albeit with a watermark saying found by BobbyFan85, though he eventually uploaded the same clip again, this time without the watermark. So, yeah, now you could pretty much watch it. And that's about it. If anything was announced found the last few days of that month, I apologize, but yeah, we're getting close to the end of this year, and I can't wait to see what else will be found in the years. Oh, and yeah, watch Blame It on Jorge's Volume 3 Lost Media Found in 2025 video when it comes out, hopefully in the next few days. Anyways, I'm Grayson. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.